Well, today at the Soboha Reality Training Center, Eberechi Eze is going to be undergoing his medical. We are having other stories. Victor Boniface to AC Milan, here we go. And then we have obviously gotten a hint from Fabrizio Romano, huge one, about where is a player known as Nicolas Jackson is obviously going to be playing at from. Welcome to this channel. Smash like button, comment and share. Rokani Media Football it is. It is the Friday. I came live late in the night and I know most of you are really going to be catching that vibe later. But I want to let you know that it was really a vibe and really had a very vibrant discussion. For everyone who missed out on that live, please go ahead and really get to the live section and you will thank me later after watching that video, as we brought to you why Eberechi Eze couldn't really risk his chance to obviously join the club of Arsenal. So let's see, close to 300 likes marking the video, and I would like to congratulate everyone for being with us, because today we've gone ahead to hit 27,000 subscribers onto this YouTube channel of ours, and we are really having the best of the best in here onto the Rokani Media Football. So the side of Arsenal is really preparing to obviously see to it that Eberechi Eze goes ahead to obviously undergo his medical, and that is today, where Soboha Reality Training Center and others will be taken maybe the hospital in London if at all need be for that particular aspect of the checkup. But all I want to let you know is that early morning Eberechi Eze will touch down the Soboha Reality Training Center, and remember, he's a Londoner because Crystal Palace is in London, and he's obviously gonna be there to obviously get his medical done and dusted, and Arsenal want to obviously get this done in a nick of time to see to it that they register the player early enough, because they don't want him to miss out on an opportunity, and they want to unveil the player in the game that Arsenal is obviously going to be playing against Leeds, that is on Saturday. Tomorrow it's 19:30 hours. That's when that game of football is obviously going to be played, and Arsenal will be playing their first game at the Emirates. Remember, the first game they played away at Old Trafford as their season opener, they beat United by 1-0. And if Leeds is coming to the side of Emirates and Arsenal went ahead to get 3 points away from the side of Manchester United, it will be very important for Arsenal to obviously get in more and more points to see to it that they obviously start what we call their title chase in the high gear. But for Eberechi Eze as a player, I tell you, there is a lot to get from him as a player. And for the side of Arsenal, they've gone ahead to put in huge effort to obviously sign the player as he obviously comes by to put in his extra effort. Today is the day, and we all anticipate that it will obviously come to pass for Eberechi Eze to complete and pass his medical. We'll obviously really let you know the results from the medical, and no sooner he starts the medical than Rokani David will come up here and we'll let you know when and how is the medical going and what we anticipate, because more news is obviously gonna be really coming up as far as this is really concerned. As he undergoes the medical, then we'll get to know whether Arsenal wants to register him today, or they're like, we can obviously take our time and say to it that we don't unveil him today. But the player is fit. He has been playing in what we call the Premier League, and maybe Arsenal would want him to get in some minutes before they obviously get into the next phase of their upcoming games of the season. That is Eberechi Eze for you, and he's obviously gonna be doing what we call the medical today. And as we told you, it was scheduled today, it has to happen today, and this comes after Arsenal and Crystal Palace came to an understanding that he shouldn't be playing the game of the team they really beat 1-0 in the UEFA Conference League qualifier. You understand? So let's wait and see how that pans out, but that's how things are really panning out for the lad known as Eberechi Eze today. His medical is on today. So that's why I always tell you, after subscribing, hit the notification bell. That will enable you get notified every time I upload a video onto this channel. You can as well become a member. Go on the left bottom corner, you know, after the word subscribe, you'll find the word join. Click join, and then you'll become a member and see this channel really grow to its fullest, or where you want it to be. Now, let's obviously get to one of the biggest stories in the land. You know, a player who has been very central when it came to obviously scoring goals, you know, in the German Bundesliga. Very many clubs of the Saudi Pro League wanted to sign him. He was linked to Arsenal, Manchester United, and very many more. And this time round, we've gone ahead to obviously get a here we go from this guy known as Fabrizio Romano. And he told us that Victor Boniface to AC Milan, here we go. Verbal agreement between all parties for the Nigerian striker, €5 million loan. You understand? 24 million euros by option clause, not mandatory, and contract until 2030. Done. Next step, medical tests ahead of signing all contracts. Now, Boniface has gone ahead to move from the Germany side to obviously come to Italy. But my shocking hint is all about the amount of money that the club of AC Milan is obviously going to be paying. A loan of 5 million euros and 24 million euros by clause, not mandatory. So I'm like, why have they obviously gone ahead to do this? You know, I know he has been at Bayern Leverkusen, and last season he played 19 games and scored 8 goals, and he never really reached the level of really scoring 14 goals in the season that he scored in the season of 2023-2024 with 8 assists, meaning that he was really on fire that season. That's why very many teams are really in for him. But he's a Nigerian, and he comes in through to obviously join the side of AC Milan. AC Milan has been looking for Rasmus Højlund, and I think getting into this guy on loan with an option to buy, I think it really goes to the levels that we really want to see this guy go ahead with the needful. But he's a very good striker. But I don't know whether he'll obviously surpass Victor Osimhen at the national team when December starts, as the African Cup of Nations comes in as soon as possible. So we are here to wait and see how this guy known as Victor Boniface will obviously thrive as a player at a club of AC Milan, and we'll be really bringing you those updates on how these people obviously going to be performing, because the market is soon closing and football will obviously get to full pelt. You understand? Now, from him, let's get to another player who has been totally thrown down by the manager. The manager says him and Nkunku are not part of the plans of Chelsea and they want him out. Who are we talking about? We are talking about a player called Nicolas Jackson. Nicolas Jackson came in through from Villarreal to Chelsea. I think they got him for, is it 25 or 30 million euros? And now they want to invest big. When he was linked to Manchester United, I saw a blog quoting 60 million pounds is what Chelsea is calling in for. And I was like, who does that? Who pays that? I was like, who really does that? Who pays that huge or that lump sum of money for a Nicolas Jackson, you know? But someone asked me that if United could pay 85 million euros for a player who hasn't obviously gone ahead to score very many goals in the Bundesliga, you know, and this guy has gone ahead to obviously score goals, you know, in the Premier League, you know, and he has been competing at the highest level with Chelsea, then when they call him for 60 million pounds, why do you think it's not worth it? Yet the other player that is already at Manchester United, Benjamin Sesko, has even gone ahead to cost Manchester United more than that. You understand? And I was like, he had a point in what he was really saying. He really had a point that was really standing. So Fabrizio Romano went ahead and obviously told us the following about the deal of this guy. He told us that there is big movements ongoing around Nicolas Jackson. He's definitely set to leave Chelsea very soon. Understand, Newcastle and Bayern Munich have both called again in the last 48 hours. Aston Villa pushing as Unai Emery wants him. Now, I think if I told you at Chelsea, this is what you want, and a bidding war kick starts between three clubs: Newcastle, Bayern Munich, and Villa. Let's break them down. Newcastle, first and foremost. I think they really have a very good chance. Why? Nicolas Jackson can be promised a starting position at the side of Newcastle, because they are really lacking a striker, as Isak is on strike and Liverpool are really willing to obviously get this player in. So that is really a very good option for him, and I think Nicolas Jackson needs ample playing time. You understand? When we go to Bayern Munich, if you are Nicolas Jackson, I cannot really second him to go to that side, and I know he can't also really want to be a second striker, because at Chelsea, that's why he's really leaving. And now, if he's obviously leaving at Chelsea for really being a third choice striker, he can't really go to a club where he's obviously going to be a second choice striker, because Bayern is giving you Champions League football, even Newcastle is giving you Champions League football, but Newcastle is giving a starting slot into their starting 11 as a number 9 for them. You understand? So for me, Bayern is calling, but I don't think that the player will obviously give them a chance to obviously go and really play there. Never say never, but I don't see him going to Bayern Munich. Aston Villa, Unai Emery, with Oli Watkins there, though he was his former manager at Villarreal. We wait to see whether he'll obviously decide to obviously go there. But I think the best side for him to go is none other than Newcastle, because Newcastle is really having a void that he's obviously gonna be really getting. And we've been told by Fabrizio Romano yesterday at 10 p.m. that Aston Villa pushing for Nicolas Jackson as top target wanted by Unai Emery. Emery was Jackson's coach at Villarreal, and relationship is excellent, with talks ongoing over formula, structure of the deal. Aston Villa also aware of competition with several top keen clubs. So the manager of Aston Villa is like, I was with this guy at Villarreal, and I think I can intervene and use my knowing him more to convince him to come and really play for the side of Aston Villa. That's what the manager is really thinking for the club of Aston Villa. I think he's right, because we've gone ahead to see Benjamin Sesko snub Newcastle because of the player, because of the person, Christopher Vivell, that really brought him to RB Salzburg. He got him from RB Salzburg and brought him to RB Leipzig, and then he's the same guy that has gone ahead to get him from RB Leipzig to the side of Man United. So that is really very important, and you cannot really downplay such an effort and know-how, because he knows him very well, and he can promise him that you're obviously going to be competing with Oli Watkins. And by the way, Oli Watkins also feels like it's his time to obviously leave this side of Aston Villa, if at all a big offer really comes in through. And Newcastle has been also knocking on the door to obviously get in Oli Watkins. So if Nicolas Jackson goes to the side of Villa, we might see Oli Watkins cross to Newcastle. That is it. So thank you very much for watching through. I call upon for your reactions into the comment section below about 1. Eberechi Eze Medical today at Arsenal. Then what do you make about Boniface, who has gone ahead obviously join AC Milan on loan? Do you think obviously shine in the La Liga? And lastly, what do you make about Nicolas Jackson bidding war in full swing? Rokani David is my name. Good morning. First video of the day, and more is yet to come.